Today we have two tents to look at. One is a tent you can buy for $30 and the other is a military tent. Now this one you can buy on Amazon for just under 40 bucks, usually around $30. This I got from a military surplus shop for about $100. The brand names, this is Stand Sport, and this I'm not sure, but it's an improvised combat shelter. That's what it's called. This is a two-person tent and this is a one-person tent. Let's set them up and see what they're like. Now for one, we can talk about the weight. As you can see, the cheaper tent is a lot smaller in the back. So the $30 tent is coming in at about 3.2 pounds and the military tent is coming in at 6.6 pounds as you see them here. So I haven't actually used these tents yet, but I have taken this one out before. I've never taken the military one out before. And we're not going to do any modifications either to them today. So here's the tent. You get some guy lines, tent stakes, and poles. And a little piece for repairs, I suspect. I actually live on a giant rock. That'll have to do. Next up, we get our poles. So each one is 3 pieces. They come disconnected and they have these little clips to clip in. They're a little bit junky. It's still usable. But there they are. You know, for $30 you shouldn't expect much, but they literally just give you a little bit of string and the ends are all frayed. You would definitely want to replace these with some paracord if you could. And they all come with these little stoppers on the end. The first one I actually used, it pulled off, so I'm probably not going to use them, but we'll see if they end up working. Oh, would you look at that? Just like I was saying, this thing failed. This end stopper thing fails, so yeah, that sucks. Now the military tent. So we have a repair kit here. These bags seem to be waterproof. The poles, which are all connected with the string. This is the rain fly right here. This being surplus, you can see some of the liner here is either coming off or something. It doesn't seem this thing came with tent pegs. These are nice and easy, they just snap right on. So here's the tent itself. You can see you have a front screen. The top is actually, except for the very top, all mesh. And that's going to allow for good airflow, as well as a door in the back. This is all going to be covered up by the rain fly over here. Okay, so that last third piece actually has to go on perpendicular to the tent. It goes in this hole. There's a little sleeve for it to go in the back. and that brings it out to the bottom. My mistake, there's actually a sleeve that is on the top too that it goes through. So there it is, finished. So let's get into the tents. First, the stand support. So you get 2 zippers, one going up, one at the bottom. It's kind of a standard A-frame type tent. Let's get in. So touring inside, the roof's not quite high enough. Guy lines being so high up on the edge of the tent doesn't help that. It kind of pulls the top down rather than the sides out. You know, it is a 2-person tent. I am 6 feet tall, my feet go to the end, and my head goes to about the end again. Again, maybe this can be stretched an inch or 2. Not much to it. Floor is kind of like this plastic. Back has mesh so you can get airflow and see outside, except the problem is the zipper is on the outside. So you have to go outside to get to that. I think a better design would have been the mesh on the outside and the front flap on the inside, and then you can kind of just pull that up and have the net, because this way you have to go outside to zip it. Down here you have a little pocket to store your knickknacks. It is what it is. It's a $30 tent. Is it waterproof though? We're gonna find out. So now the military tent. Let's go inside. So you have the rain fly covering it up. Because this is surplus, we got a little bit of a stain there. That's no problem, as long as it works, right? I just noticed that. Seems the zipper is a little bit messed up on this one. Well, that is okay. That's not the worst, because we could just keep that zipper down and zip it all the way to the bottom. Let's open it up. Wow, it is dirty. Maybe some Middle Eastern sand in here. See these you could snap down to the rain fly. You can see that some of the waterproofing is probably not super effective on here from over the years. That's what you get when you get surplus though. Hello, doggy. Zip the mesh up. It's got that weird surplus smell to it. Now if we zip that up, you can tell it is pretty dark in here. A little bit of light's coming through these areas that I'm a little bit concerned are going to not be waterproof. On the back side, and you have this little compartment that you can put some stuff, maybe your boots, whatever, keep them out of the tent and get more room. And it is also covered. Well, you can put some stuff here and not have to worry about it. What's nice is you can open this main compartment and still have this mesh here. There's definitely enough room for someone who's around 6 feet tall, definitely. One person definitely can fit in here. You could also put your bag in here as well. But I want to test how waterproof these things are. Probably a little bit on the front. A little bit on the front again. Well, there's a little pooling on the side here because number one, I'm on a little bit of a hill. The guy lines aren't bringing out as much. Maybe I can tighten up the pegs there, but so inside I could see a considerable amount of water. So you can see the amount of water in here. Definitely not waterproof. Yeah, you would, if you just set this up as it is in the rain, you would definitely get wet. See the military tent. So, I see a couple drips of water. Just a couple. There's that Middle Eastern sand over here. For the most part, there really isn't much water. Like a tiny, tiny wet spot, a tiny drop of water. That's pretty much the most right there. Little drop. So this tent overall is pretty waterproof. And I think the only problem with this tent is going to be the fact that this waterproof lining that's missing is the cause probably of those couple tiny little drops. But other than that, it's very good. If you could, I don't know, you could even duct tape that, maybe spray some of that spray on rubber on it. That would probably work really well. So guys, as far as these tents go, which one is better? Well, the military tent, in my opinion, is just going to be better as it is right now. Just the fact that it stays dry inside, apart from, like I said, the little lining that's missing from it being used, it's much better in that regard of being waterproof. The Stand Sport is going to get you wet. As these tents stand right now, what needs to be done to make them better? Well, for the military tent, I would say one of the only things that needs to be done better is going to be that lining that we just talked about. This didn't come with pegs, tent pegs, so if you get some tent pegs to get it down more securely on the ground. Now the Stand Sport, oh boy, the Stand Sport. Look, the Stand Sport is $30, right? So you can't expect a whole lot, but at the end of the day, you are putting yourself into it outside, and you need it to protect you. While it is a usable tent, there's multiple things about it that I would absolutely change. So the poles itself are usable, right? The poles, I think, are usable. They're just poles. The string that it comes with, and these horrendous little stopper things on it, I would just get rid of all of those and replace it with 550 cord. You just know that this string is just not going to hold up over time. It's put in there probably to lower costs down, but just change that out for 550 cord if you can. They do say spray it with a waterproofing. I don't know if that would even help though, because it's probably coming through the seams. If anything, I would say that you'd probably want a tarp with it. Which one do you go with? Well, I don't know. I'm just showing you the two. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. Subscribe if you want to see more videos. Like the video if you thought it was at least a little bit entertaining. I'll see you around.